This is AQA GCSE Chemistry. It's a dual award topic, which obviously means that triple students will also need to use it. This is part 2 of the periodic table section. As always, I'm going to recommend that you pause on each section, have a go at it for yourself, and then you get to review your own progress and see what needs some development. So, learning objectives for this one, we're going to link atomic structure to the periodic table. We are going to see the differences between metals and non-metals, and that's partly about where they are on the periodic table as well. And we're going to look at just why noble gases are not reactive at all. Now, there are lots of key ideas throughout this that are already embedded from Chapter 1 from atomic structure. So it is worth looking at the two chapters together. Now, in this first question, we are looking at Objective 1, linking atomic structure to the periodic table. There might be questions that you can ask yourself about it, but what can you say about those links? And the first thing to say is that in the modern periodic table, they are placed in order of increasing atomic number. The group number is also equal to the number of electrons in an atom's outer shell. So group 1 has 1 electron in its outer shell. Group 2 has 2 electrons in its outer shell, all the way up to group 7 having 7 electrons in the outer shell. Group 0 or group 8, the noble gases, have a full outer shell. And that also feeds into similar elements together in groups. So elements that have similarities in terms of their reactivity. Again, a prime example here, group 1, lithium, sodium, potassium, all violently react with water, and the periodic table places them together. On to the next task here, and this came up in the atomic structure chapter as well. So where would you find on the periodic table metals and non-metals? The first thing that you need to remember is this line. This is the dividing line between metals and non-metals. It's a series of steps starting above aluminium and moving down to the right across the table. Everything to the left of that line is a metal. Everything to the right of that line is a non-metal. You are going to need to be able to identify them. Now, they have very different properties. Lots of these are gases. The majority of these are solids. There are 1 or 2 exceptions to the rules in each case. Finally, on this video, we're looking at noble gases. Okay, so we know from the previous section that earlier topics that ions are formed when electrons are lost or gained, and that happens when elements react. We always end up in ions with a full outer shell of electrons. So why are noble gases totally unreactive? Well, noble gases have a full outer shell of electrons. They don't need to lose any, they don't need to gain any, and as we move forward in bonding to look at covalent bonding, they don't need to share any either. And that means that noble gases have absolutely no reason to react or interact with other atoms. They already have that full outer shell that everything else when it reacts is aiming for. That takes us to the end of this video. Thank you for listening and goodbye.